जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
यमुना तीरा वनचारी
यमुना तीर वनचारी
जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी
माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस सुरेगाचार्य स्तोत्र शत श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते
Narayanam
वासुदेवाय।
Namaskritya Naram
नारायणं
Chaiva
नमस्कृत्य
Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayed Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, chapter entitled Prahlad Pacifies the Lord with Prayers. Text number 14. Tadyaccha manyumasurascha hatastva yadhyam Tadyaccha manyumasurascha hatastva yadhyam Modeta sadurapi vrishchika sarpahatyam Lokascha nirvritimita pratiyanti sarve Rupam nrasimham vibhavaya jana smaranti Tadyaccha manyumasurascha hatastvayadhyam Modeti sadurapi vrishchika sarpahatyam Lokascha nirvritimita pratiyanti sarve Rupam Nrsimha Vibhayaya Jana Smaranti Tadyacha Manyumasurascha Hatastvayadhyam Modeta Sadurapi Vrishchika Sarpahatya Lokascha Nirvritimita Pratiyanti Sarve Rupam Nrsimha Vibhayaya Jana Smaranti. Tadyacha Manyumasurascha Hatastvayadya Modeta Tadyacha Manyumasurascha Hatastvayadya Vrishchika Sarpahatya Yanti Sarve Tadyacha Manyumasurascha Hatastvayadya Modeta Sadurapi Vrishchika Sarpahatya Lokascha Nirvritimita Pratiyanti Sarve Rupam Narsimha Vibhayaya Jana Smaran. Matajis. Tadyacha Manyumasurascha Hatastvayadhyam Modeta Sadurapi Vrishchika Sarpahatya Lokascha Nirvritimita Pratiyanti Sarve Rupam Narsimha Vibhayaya Jana Smaranti. Tat. Therefore, Yacha, kindly give up. Manyum, your anger. Asuraha, my father Hiranyakashipu, the great demon. Cha, also. Hataha, killed. Tvaya, by you. Adhya, today. Modeta, take pleasure. Sadhu api, even a saintly person. Vrishchika sarpahatya, by killing a snake or a scorpion. Lokaha, all the planets. Cha, indeed. Nirvrithim, pleasure. Itaha, have achieved. Pratiyanti, are waiting for pacification of your anger. Sarve, all of them. Rupam, this form. Narsimha, O Lord Narsimhadev. Vibhayaya, for mitigating their fear. Janaha, all the people of the universe. Smaranti, will remember. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. My Lord Narsimhadev, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed. Even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake. All the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Purport. The most important point in this verse is that although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity, they take pleasure in the killing of envious living entities like snakes and scorpions. Hiranyakashipu was killed because he was worse than a snake or a scorpion, and therefore everyone was happy. Now there was no need for for the Lord to be angry. The devotees can always remember the form of Narasimhadev when they are in danger. And therefore, the appearance of Narasimhadev was not at all inauspicious. The Lord's appearance is always worshipable and auspicious for all sane persons and devotees. उमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So, warm welcome to all devotees for today's class and discussion. So, in this verse, as Prabhupada also writes in the purport, the most significant line is the second one, 𝗦𝗿𝗶𝗺 sadhurapi vrishchika sarpahatya. In fact, when we were reciting this verse also, I noticed all the devotees were comfortable with the second line. They were reciting it very confidently. The first line seemed like a tongue twister. Asurascha hatastvayadhya and all that, it was seeming a little difficult. But everyone knew, 𝗦𝗿𝗶 sadhurapi. Immediately the volume peaked. So that indicates that all devotees are very familiar with this particular line. Okay, so I'll start with the Prabhupada story where Prabhupada quoted this and was very jubilant. So this happened in I think it was 29th, 1973 in Auckland when Prabhupada was having his daily massage from Shrutakirti Prabhu. And he described there were two other disciples of Prabhupada in front, Tushta Krishna and Siddha Swarupanand. And there was a phone that had come from Balimardan from Bombay. And so one of them went to attend the phone. And then he came back and told Prabhupada the news. Prabhupada, Balimardan was on the line. And he said that Mr. Nair is dead. And it is said that Prabhupada started clapping, started slapping his thighs. And he quoted this verse, 𝗦𝗿𝗶𝗺 sadhurapi vrishchika sarpahatya. That even a saintly person is pleased when a snake or a scorpion is killed. So Shrutakirti Prabhu writes that he was a bit confused. That how can a sadhu become so happy, when someone is dead? So Prabhupada said, no, he was a rascal. He troubled me so much for this particular land that I was praying to Krishna that Krishna should kill him. So Shrutakirti Prabhu asked, then does that mean that he got liberation, Prabhupada? Because Krishna kills means we know we get liberation. Does it mean Mr. Nair got liberated? Prabhupada said, no. That will happen only if Krishna personally comes and kills you. For this kind of case, there is no such liberation. Then Prabhupada said that last time only when I saw him in Bombay, I was thinking Krishna is going to kill him very soon. Because he was a very strong man. But Prabhupada said he was limping slightly. I understood that he is having a heart problem. And this fellow will not last long. I realized that at that point itself. And I'm very happy that he's dead. So this is a very striking incident. But it just shows how, it's a classic example of 𝗦𝗿𝗶𝗺 sadhurapi Vrischika Sarpa Hatya, that even a great saintly person is very pleased when a snake or scorpion is killed. So what we will do today is, we will go back to the Gita to understand something about this. Because the Gita talks about Sura and Asura Pravritti both in great detail. Right? There is birth-based identification of Sura, Asura given in the Gita. And also there is Vritti-based identification. By birth-based identification, I mean, like Krishna says, Daityanam Prahaladosmi. Right? Among all the Daityas, I am Prahalad, he says. That's a birth-based identification. So Prahalad is identified as Asura Kula only. Birth-based. In terms of birth, he is born in the Daitya Kula. And Krishna is also saying in the Gita, among all the Daityas, I am him. I am this person. The best of them, whatever. The most evolved, right, like that. So there is birth-based identification. But more importantly, there is vritti-based identification. This is more important. Because, sometimes what happens is, now if you see the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna, throughout the Gita, by and large, Krishna doesn't take names. I mean, you leave the 10th chapter aside, where he is saying that in a group I am this, that is a separate thing. But otherwise, for example, when Krishna talks about devotees in the 12th chapter, he doesn't say, these are examples of my devotees. There's only actually one example Krishna gives by name, that is Janaka. And that also he is not giving for a devotee, that he is giving as a karma yogi. 3.20 Bhagavad Gita, where he says that Loka Sankramevapi, in that verse he says, Asito Janakadeha, like Janaka, who lived for Loka Sangraha, for welfare of people. So that he gives one name as an example. Otherwise, he doesn't give names as examples. There's a very interesting reason for it. Because when Krishna, when we name something and keep it like that, right, it gives a false sense of relief to all others, saying that, oh, very good. These are the XYZ fellows who are Asuras or Rakshasas. I am not in that. It gives a false sense of relief to someone. But Krishna doesn't do that. Even in the 12th chapter, when he talks about devotees, he's just listing qualities. Adveshta sarva bhutanam, on and on and on, he's listing qualities. And finally he's saying, such a devotee, such a me priya, he is very, very dear to me. He doesn't give too many examples, saying that, these are examples of my devotee. Like that, he doesn't do that. And same goes with Asura also. In the 16th chapter, when Krishna is listing out all these names, all these characters, so then that is vritti based. You understood? So I was saying earlier, right? There is birth-based identification of Sura Asura, but more importantly, there is a vritti-based identification. Vritti-based means in terms of your characteristics, in terms of your qualities, there is an identification given. And that's more important actually. Why that is more important? Because then we can easily see which of those vrittis we are having right now, I am having right now. So, whether I need to work on it, do something about it. Because otherwise it's very easy to say, hey, look, Hiranyakashipu is a demon clearly. Shri Radha Vandam Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai, Jagannath Bhadra Subhadra ki jai. Because, when you see someone like Hiranyakashipu, it is very easy to say, hey, look, here is an Asura, very clear, crystal clear case, right? And we are all followers of Prahlad. Like that, it becomes a little more easier to see that. But Krishna doesn't allow us that flexibility in the Gita, because he goes into vritti based a lot. Right, describing in terms of characteristics, who is an Asura. This is again very important because, in our system, the identification of Sura, Asura is not a binary just based on a belief system. Okay, so for example, if you take the Abrahamic guys, in their systems, what happens is, if you believe in someone, right, you believe in Jesus Christ, then you are a believer. And if you don't believe that he is the only savior who is going to deliver you, then you are gone case. It's on belief. Okay, so there is a very nice seminar given by, I think it was Devamut Maharaj given in Ukraine. He written a book on it as well. He says, this statement that I believe in Krishna, he said, this is not of much significance, he says. What your experience and your qualities is more important. So he tells the audience to repeat after him, I believe in Sri Krishna. Everybody initially very enthusiastically says, I believe in Sri Krishna. And then finally he says, okay, I mean, what is the, so what, right? Where are you is more important. If you see, for example, this Hiranyakashipu, it is not that he didn't believe in Vishnu. Of course he knew Vishnu exists. His whole tapasya was for that only, to ensure that he is not killed by him. He had no doubt. See, please remember. So in an Abrahamic context, the definition of Sura Asura is a very belief-oriented system. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I don't believe in God means you are automatically posted as a demon. Here it is not like that. It's not that simple. If you see many of the demons whom we talk about in our scripture, these people are all believed. Very well they knew Vishnu is there. Hiranyakashipu knew all the while. Not that he didn't. Of course he knew. Why he didn't know? He knew. He knew higher power exists. He knew all that. See, basically he was envious, but he wanted to destroy. So there is a difference. Right? It's not that he didn't know that Vishnu exists. He very well knew. He was in fact very happy when Narasimhadev came out of the pillar. He said, finally, this person came in front of me. Huh? I was waiting only. Where he is, he's hidden somewhere in the hearts of his devotees. I knew he was trying to escape from me. Thank you, Prahlad. You got this person in front of me. So, it's not that you don't believe or something. So it's not a belief system oriented, right? It's about what you are. See, that's actually more difficult. See, belief is very superficial. It's very easy to say that I believe in someone, I don't believe in someone. Wow, how much does it take for you to do that? Okay, we believe. Like 𝗏𝗏𝐿𝐽𝐻, he believed in Krishna. He knew he was standing on Krishna's side only. But Krishna considered him an Asura Kula only. Right? When he is killed, Krishna was clapping, saying, yes, very good. This fellow died. I would only have to kill him, and that would be a little awkward, because of the family connection. That why am I killing the son of Bhima? Correct? So Krishna, so if you see that, it's not about your belief system. It's about what you are actually. What you actually stand for in life. That is vritti based. That is what Krishna hits in the Bhagavad Gita. Because that's more important. Belief is a very superficial system. So for example, if you see in our scriptures also other examples of demons, like whether it is Duryodhan, Shishupal, Jarasandha, these people were astic, mind you. They were not nastic. See, what's the definition of nastic? Like Mahaprabhu says, Vedana manile buddha hoye nastic. When you don't accept the Veda, you become a nastika. Okay, if you see all these people, Jarasandha and all, they did. This Duryodhana did Vaishnav Yajna, which is considered higher than Rajasuya Yajna, technically. Bada Yajna, right? So these people were not non-believers of the Vedas or anything, but all of them are counted under the Asura Kula only, in terms of vritti. May not be in terms of Kula, birth. Okay, but vritti is more important. That's what I'm saying. Kula is one thing. In Kula, what happens, that genetic code is such that that tendency to be Asura will be there. You see Prahlad Maharaj, his son Virochan, like he's again considered, I'll tell one story of his as well. He's again considered in the Asura category only. His son Bali also. That nature was there. Of course, he overcame that and he surrendered to the Supreme Lord. But that is Kula based. Where genetically that tendency may be there because you're born in that family, that surrounding where everywhere around you is, kind of, your blood is full of that. So that tendency is strongly there to be like that. But you can still come out of it. Like we see all these examples who came out. Correct? So, but the other one is more important for us. And more importantly, see now another important thing. Many times we say that Lord Chaitanya did not kill anyone, like 𝗏𝗏𝐬𝐬𝐻 and all that. So here why is it said that sadhu is happy when a demon is killed? Why was Prabhupada happy when that Nair was killed? Because see, we need to make a distinction between papi and rakshasa pravritti. These are two different things. See, papi, we should have compassion for them. Majority of the world is considered papi actually, by the way. Papi means they are addicted to some sinful activity. Okay, they have hope. They can come out of that. That is just a conditioning. That's an attachment. Bahar aa sakte wo log. So such people, we don't think that we should kill them. Like 𝗏𝗏𝐬𝐬𝐻, classic example of papi. Okay. But Rakshasas, they have to be killed only. Rudra Shakti only has to be employed for them. Ye sudharne nahi wale. They are not going to change. They have that envy which is there very strongly, and we will see what Krishna speaks about them in the 16th chapter Gita. But papi need not be killed, but Rakshasi has to be killed only. And today's world also, see now again, when we read such examples of Hiranyakashipu, we should also understand today's world also such people exist. Right? Krishna says in Gita in the 16th chapter that, they are there out to destroy the world. Correct? That is their whole thing only, how to destroy. So I'll give simple examples. Just like, if you see, the entire group of people who are, out to destroy, even for example, a family structure, they come under this category only. They come under very strongly in this category. What we technically call as the leftist, etc. They feel they are out to destroy. They are thinking how to destroy well-established systems. Because they feel that these systems are. I'll give examples of that to understand that better. Okay, so just like for example, in America, this was there till some time ago, till new government came in. But can you imagine? They managed to convince people that a 8-year-old or a 10-year-old boy or a girl can take some medicines, puberty blockers they call it, and decide at that age itself that they don't want to be a man or a woman, and even parents cannot stop them. See, this was actually about to happen, kind of before a new government came and they stopped it. But can you imagine, right? People were talking about it, and many were accepting this, and this was already implemented in some places in California, etc., where even parents had no control. I mean, it's like you really want to destroy a system. Can you imagine a 7-8-year-old kid doesn't know anything, taking such a major decision in life, taking such medicines, this, that, and stopping their growth only as a man or a woman. And that's permanent. You can't reverse it. Not that after, say, 18 years, you understand, I shouldn't have taken that medicine. Bada galti ho gaya. No, irreversible hai. And parents also, they said, no, parents cannot interfere in this. So this was it, right? This is a Rakshas. Simple example, right? Or if you see in the Western world today, in European, especially British, etc., what has happened is a particular agenda has been driven where many common people have started feeling that, we oppressed in the past, because these white people were oppressors, right? Everywhere they were going and conquering and subduing and controlling people. So they, this Rakshasa Pravritti kind of people, they like to give you a feeling that because you were oppressor, you are bad now. See, someone in your ancestry was so-called oppressor, but for that they hold the current guy responsible. Just like in the Indian caste system also we see, where, they say that someone oppressed someone's great-grandfather, so you are also part of that oppressor category only. And because of that, what happens is, these people also, they feel guilty. Oh, I was oppressor. So because of that, they take certain social decisions also. Like for example, some of them are also, so there was a, I'll come back to the Bhagavad Gita and more Bhagavad context, but I'm just giving a current social context to it, that there are people who, in the West, who have felt that I also need to be oppressed. So that's why all these gays and all these kind of groups, right, they are getting more acceptance, or people are feeling that by calling myself a gay, I am coming in an oppressed category. Are you imagining the psychology? So the psychology has been affected. So if you are a regular white, who is straight, etc., then you are part of that oppressor category, but now you should feel oppressed. So if you are one of these categories, then you can call yourself as oppressed. And when you are oppressed, then you can feel little, lower about yourself, etc. So this is a very, psychological control, this is actually of people. And this affects many young people to make decisions where they actually start feeling that, yes, let's identify ourselves like this only, so that, we can also feel that we are oppressed only and we are not oppressor, we are not bad people and so on. But what they are not understanding is, by doing this in society, you are actually destroying the whole fabric, right? You're destroying family system, you're destroying this, which is actually happening in large parts of the world, right? So in fact, there was one devotee I knew very well in Mumbai. So he was giving this example. He was saying that in many of the universities in the West, where sometimes, rich Indians, they go there to study some MBA or something. And when they become woke category, which is another Asura Pravritti thing, so it seems they come back and they don't want to join family business, because they are taught that all these kind of businesses are very exploitative and these are very, very bad. So this person was saying that, many good business families in India, they send their kid to some education in some university where this fellow spends so much money, studies all this, and comes back and he doesn't want to join family business, thinking that, oh, this is very oppressive, you all are oppressing, we should feel bad for the poor. Hare, this father who is doing business, he's doing charity, he's doing many things also, right, with his resources. But unnecessarily, you have been bombarded with this thing. So I'm giving all these examples just to say, in modern world, there are many such examples of people who psychologically tried to manipulate youngsters to ensure that they get this, they destroy their own families, not getting married, doing all these things, and in this way destroy the family structure. Correct? These are all Rakshasas actually. This is Rakshas. This is not Papi. Papi is a different thing. Papi is some addiction, somebody is addicted to liquor, wicker. That okay, you can counsel him and get him out of that. But once psychologically you have changed, right, deeply, you are affected, then it's very, very dangerous, because then it's, your view about the world itself changes, and you are very happy in that particular type of destruction. So as devotees, we should also be careful in such demoniac influences on society, which can affect our kids as well. It's not that it doesn't. Okay. So now we will come back more into the Gita, because the Bhagavad Gita which is there, right? It's the beauty of the Gita, as I said, is Krishna speaks Asura in terms of characteristic. And this is important, because then only we will understand what we should not be doing, right? Because as I said, this is not about belief system. It's not about just believing in a God or not believing in a God. That's a very superficial, one level thing. In fact, because in our Shastra, all the demons you see, they all believed in higher powers. Not that they did not. Correct? Hiranyakashipu did great tapasya to Brahmaji and all that. He was not some regular atheist guy thinking that there is nothing higher than myself. And no, he was not like that also. He had envy towards Vishnu. He knew Vishnu exists. Okay, so this is a different thing altogether, right? So we will see from the Gita, because we need to look at, I'm just going to focus on some verses because we need to really capture what is Asuric nature, to ensure that we don't have that, or because it's likely, in fact, if you see the verses, we will understand that we are also already having many of it. Right, depending on who we are and where we are right now, we have to see how to avoid these to a great extent. Okay, so in one verse, Krishna describes in 16.4, we all know that, right? Dambo darpo bhimanascha krodha parushyameva ajnanam chabijadasya partha sampadam asurim. Correct? This is the classic verse where Krishna defines what is asura. Okay, so I'm actually reading from some commentary. So if you see commentary history, I think I've said that earlier before, but it is said that one of the original commentators of Gita in the Vaishnava tradition was Ramanuja, but before that was Shankaracharya. And recently I learned one thing, that it seems that Ramanuja copied 70% of Shankara's commentary, because most of Shankara's commentary is not quote-unquote Mayavad. So if you see this chapter, 16th chapter, इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There is no opportunity to present Mayavad, that part of our philosophy. Correct? This is just talking straight things. Who is Sura? Who is Asura? So many of such things are as it is from there only, he says, because he has laid a very good foundation to understand who is this and that. And if you analyze all the commentaries that came later, they all trace back ultimately to that source only, because that's how, right? It is just like a scientist who writes a paper, he has to quote previous paper, correct? He has to give a reference that another scientist did this research, based on that I am saying this, so like that. Okay, so anyway, let's get into these verses. So in this verse, Krishna says, Partha Sampadam Asurim. Sampat actually means, in one sense, if you see, Sampat means wealth. Sampat means an opulence. Sampat. So the first question that is raised is, how can you say all these are Sampat? Right? Sampat hota hai kya ye sab? Okay. So he says that, see, what is happening is, the Asura considers this as Sampat. We may not be. From his perspective, all this is Sampat only. That means if I have Damba, Dharpa, Abhimana, harshness, then and if I am Asura, I consider this as my wealth. Arey, so proud and arrogant I am, man. Come on. So he considers this Sampat. That is why Krishna said Partha Sampadam Asurim. Because uske perspective se bataya gaya hai. Correct? Now, a little bit more into these verses. Damba means, like Prabhupada translates this as pride, which everybody has translated as pride only. But pride in what? Okay, so he says here, Damba means, pride means doing dharma for fame, not for the Lord's pleasure. Okay, that means any good activity you do, it should be done for the Lord's pleasure. Okay, so in a traditional system, there is something called Sankalpa, where you say Narayana Prityartham or Parameshwara Prityartham. If you are a Shaivite, you say Parameshwara Prityartham. Vaishnava, you say Narayana Prityartham. That means whatever I am doing, this is either for the pleasure of Narayana or Parameshwara, depending on who your Aradhya is. Correct? But this fellow who is there, the Asura, his first characteristic is that he does all dharma for fame, not for Lord's pleasure. Okay, so this is the first thing to understand who is Asura. Okay, when you don't do things for Lord's pleasure and you do things just for your own fame, that becomes damba. Darpa means arrogance. Now, what is arrogance here? So this darpa, this word darpa has been elaborated. He says here, darpa means when you enjoy things in the world, right? We enjoy when someone does some sense gratification, correct? There is a happiness that one gets out of it, correct? That happiness makes him do that activity more and more. And eventually he wants to do bigger and bigger sense enjoyment. And that anubhava which he is getting is called dharpa. Because the idea is that arrogance comes from gaining enjoyment in things in this world. Because when you enjoy things in this world and you get a pleasure out of it, that pleasure gives you an arrogance, a kick. That, what happens? Itna maja aa raha hai isme. What these people are saying, all this is not to be enjoyed. Correct? There's so much fun in this. That is called as darpa. Abhimana means conceit, he says here. Prabhupada says conceit. Abhimana, for Abhimana, there is a Dharma Shastra verse. It's a beautiful verse. Veshavak vritti sarupyam acharan vichareti cha vayasya karmana arthasya shrutasya abhijanasya cha. It says, dress, speech, behavior should be in line with age, karma, wealth, knowledge. If not, you're abhimani. Okay, so please try to understand. That means the way you dress, the way you speak, the way you behave should always be in line with your age, with what kind of wealth you have, the kind of knowledge you have, and your own karma. Simple example. Like Prabhupada would say that, he'd tell his disciples that I can call anybody rascal. You cannot call. Well, I'm an old man. Prabhupada would refer to his age as that criteria over here. Well, I'm an old man. Prabhupada, an old man and a small child can get away by saying anything. कोई ज़्यादा serious नहीं लेता उनको. But you cannot do that. Okay. So, abhimana means to not understand this. To forget that the way I speak, the way I behave, the way I dress should be in line with my age, my own qualities, my wealth, my knowledge, my position. If it's not in line with that, I'm abhimani. That means I'm trying to take somebody else's position, age, etc. and try to speak and behave like that. Like a young person trying to take Prabhupada's position and trying to say, call anybody rascal, speak like that. No, you cannot do that. So that becomes abhimana. So these are all, see, Krishna is giving these definitions here, and all these acharyas have given all these commentaries to tell us that, you think about it. If you are acting like this, then you are asura sampat. You are taking on the pravritti of an asura. Okay. And so on and so forth, right? Now, if you go a little bit further, I'm just going to take some more verses from this. Okay, now this one also, very important. See? Asatyam apratishtam te jagadaur anishwaram aparaspara sambudam kimanyat kama haitukam. We all know this verse, right? 16.8 Bhagavad Gita. Right? Kimanyat kama haitukam. That means, asura means one who thinks that kama haitukam, sex, everything is produced out of sex desire only and there is no other cause. When I was reading this also, I was thinking, what has this got to do with asura? I mean, how is it connected, right? If you think about it, why is it that if someone thinks that the world is produced from sex desire, then you are asuric? Okay, so this is apparently coming from Shankara's commentary. So he says here, very beautiful point. He says, there is drishta karana and there is adrishta karana. Asura means he accepts only drishta karana. Not accepting adrishta karana is asura sampat. Okay, so what is drishta karana? In this world we see that by sexual union a child is born. That everybody sees. That is drishta karana. But if you accept only drishta karana, that child is born because of sexual union and that's it, then you are asura sampat. Daiva sampat means to understand that drishta karana is not all in all. There is adrishta karana. There is a background. There is a papa, punya, purva janma. These are all adrishta karana. You cannot see any of it. Okay, so to deny that, okay, to deny that my past is having no influence on me only, and no, how can it be? Then you are becoming asura. That means you are saying that only drishta karana is existing. How can that be true? So that is the reason he says here, that Krishna is saying here, kimanyat kama haitukam. That means you are seeing only kama haitukam to justify everything in this world. ऐसा कैसा हो सकता है? So you are not seeing Paramatma, you are not seeing the past, you are not seeing the fact that you had a past karma, you had past situations because of which you are born with certain type of either facility or lack of facilities, either talent or lack of talent. That has come because of the past. That adirsha karana you have to accept. That is why he says here that Krishna is emphasizing so much on this point that kimanyat kama haitukam. There is no other cause other than kama. So that kama becomes the drishta karana, right? And then another thing about asura characteristic is alpa buddhaya. Like Prabhupada, alpa buddhaya means less intelligent. For this, he gives a story here, very nice story. So this is a Vedic story. One of the, I think, Upanishads that comes in. The story is of Indra and Virochana. So Virochana, as we know, is the son of Prahlad. Now see here, Prahlad was born in Asura Kula, but still he was a, I mean, in terms of vritti, he didn't have Asura Lakshana. Correct? He is Mahabhagavata. But his son Virochan who was there, he had kind of little bit of that. So the story is that Indra and Virochan, once they went to Brahmaji and they asked Brahmaji, what is Atma? We want to know. Okay. Now you may say that, Arey yaar, apna device ka session 4 play kar do, bas anybody knows this, what is Atma. 1 hour mein we can give the whole presentation, PPT, everything is there. But Brahma had a different way of teaching. So what Brahma said to both is, both of you should do 36 year tapasya and come back. Then only I will answer. Okay, somebody may say, my goodness, what can be taught in half an hour, 36 years tapasya. Okay, but anyway, Brahmaji has his own style of teaching. So both did 36 year tapasya and they came back to Brahmaji and asked, who is Atma? Please tell us now. So Brahmaji said, look at your reflection in the pond, what you see is Atma. So both of them went and they looked in the reflection. They saw the body. Virochan became very happy. He said, oh, that means I am body. That's it. Understood. He went home, happy. Indra saw and he was thinking, yaar, ye kuch to problem hai. Ye to nahi ho sakta. So much pain this body has given. My body is full of eyes. You know, because of all this lust and all the gadbad that I did. You know, so much shrap I have got. How can I be this body eternally? You know, Atma. So he goes back to Brahmaji. He says, Brahmaji, sorry Brahmaji. Not happy with this device lesson that you gave. You know, please tell some other thing. Brahmaji told Indra, again do 36 year tapasya, then only second lesson will come. Indra again does 36 year tapasya, he comes back. Now Brahmaji says, at night what you see in dream, that is Atma. Oh, really? Then he goes, he sleeps 2-3 nights, many dreams he gets. One dream, you know what kind of dreams Indra would be getting. Menaka comes in one dream, one Rishi comes and curses him in another dream. So many dreams he's having. He's not happy. He says, my goodness, this is terrible. So he goes and tells Brahmaji, I'm not happy, Brahmaji. He says, again to 36 years tapasya, I'll give you third lesson. Then third lesson he says, in deep sleep, what you perceive is Atma. Sushupti state. That was Jagrati, Swapna and Sushupti. That also is not happy. Then he again goes, then he says again 36. So totally 144 year tapasya he does. Finally Brahmaji tells him that one who is not changing in these 3 states and who is the perceiver and the witness, he is Atma. Then Indra reflects on it and says, yes, I understood what is Atma. And this understanding is real understanding. Not that, see, this is why you need to understand why Brahmaji taught him like this. You know, to really drive down the point home. Otherwise, correct, he will just hear one PPT and go away. Then after 10 days, again another doubt he will get on the same thing. Because he has not realized it. Pura sink in nahi hua knowledge. But this knowledge was like that. Now if you see Virochan, why is he considered Alpa Buddhaya? Because first lesson only he was very happy. He said, body, Atma, bas khatam. Why simply think too much? So that is the example of Alpa Buddhaya. So like that. Okay. Now, so like this, Krishna is giving many characteristics. So we have to think about it. We have to look at all these qualities and think, how many of it I am having with me? To that extent, I have Asura Pravritti. And there are many more, right? If you see, for example, verse number 11, Krishna is saying, Chintam aparameyam cha. Okay, uncountable desires you are having. Okay. So, this is a commentary of Ramanuja. So, he is saying, what do you mean uncountable desires? Even devotee has so many desires. Correct? So, how can you say only Asura has? He says, no, the difference is, for a devotee, all his desires are in one direction. Yogi ka desire, not only a devotee, any yogi, his desires are all in one direction. But this Asura, his desires are all in different directions. So that is the difference, he says. For a devotee or a yogi, the desires are in one direction. I mean, if he is a Vaishnava, he just wants to serve the Lord. So his desires are all oriented like that. But for the other fellow, it is not like that. Pralayantam upashrita means what? Till death, nothing can be satisfied for him. Okay, so Vaishnava is not like that. He is satisfied also, right? In his service, he is very satisfied. But this fellow is not like that. This Asura is not satisfied. Okay, so like that, each of these they say, right? Like if you see another one, now for this we will give good examples. Like in 13, when Krishna says, Idam aya maya labdam imam prapsya manoratam, you know that series of verses. So what is Krishna saying about Asura Kula in that? He's saying Asura means one who thinks so much money I have now and so much I will gain more according to my schemes. Now somebody will look at this verse and say, Are, what is so wrong in it? Everybody thinks like that, na? That so much money I'm having now. We all sit financial planning. All Grastas will know that we are sitting, kitna paisa hai apne paas, Excel mein we put, sit with a financial consultant. How much will I get more? So we all do that. Then why is this being said? So the commentary here is the most important verse which Krishna is hitting in this verse is Maya, Maya, Maya. Repeatedly Krishna is saying, na, Idam adya Maya labdham. Idam, so that Maya means my. That means that identification that it is only me who has planned and got all this. Okay, so the commentary here is you have forgotten that there are other causes also of action, first of all. Because Krishna has said elsewhere in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 causes of action, you are only one. And you are insignificant in that. So, baki cause aap bhool gaye, pehli baat. And second thing what has happened is, you have got extreme late. So that's why here the example they give is Satyajit. Now again, if you see Satyajit, that way if you see, he was a very dharmic person, right? He was certainly a believer of God. He was a Vishnu worshipper. He was not an atheist or something. Correct? He was worshipping Surya Dev also. But why is given as example for this verse? Because he got attached to all that money that was given. And when Krishna suggested, you give this to the king, because Ugrasen Maharaj should have this particular Shamantakamani, Satyajit said, no, this is mine. I will not give. Why are you interfering? That is Asura Pravritti. Okay, so it is not about your belief system. I'm coming back to the same point. It's about what you are, which is more difficult to change actually. Belief system can be changed in one device session. But what you are, it's a lifetime effort to change it. So Satyajit was having that tendency. That is why he said, I will not give this only. Maine dene wala hai Shamantaka to Ugrasen on the advice of Krishna. Why? It is mine. Maya. It is mine. I am only going to keep it with myself. All this gold is for my pleasure. Right? He was thinking like that. But then we know, eventually he got destroyed. See, again, we need to understand, Krishna didn't really try to destroy him. It is just that Ahankar only destroyed him. He died in that only, basically. Right? That Ahankar, that attachment to all that wealth as mine, that only destroyed him. Okay, so even the other verse, now if you see in 16.14, there are 2 things Krishna says about Asurukula. One is, Ishta Prapti and Anishta Nivritti. Ishta Prapti means whatever I want, I get by myself. And Anishta Nivritti means whatever I want to drive away, I drive away myself. That means he is my enemy, I have killed him. This situation is bad for me, I have tackled it. So that thing, that feeling, that I have only the power to manage everything in life and Lord is not there only. There is no higher power, nothing. Even if higher power is there, higher power has no control over me. This feeling is Asura. If you feel like that you are only going to handle, there's nothing, higher power, you may be believing in higher power. Like Hiranyakashipu was believing in higher power, but he felt that usko nipta liya maine. I have managed this higher power. Correct? वो सब मेरे जेब में है अभी. So I have, I am Siddhi, I have complete this thing. Okay? So like that. Okay, but the beauty is, there is actually one word, I'm not, unfortunately due to lack of time, I will not take much, I want to end soon. But, in the 16.18 verse of the this thing, Krishna basically says one very nice thing. He becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, correct? Over say na, ahankaram balam darpa kamam krodam cha samshritaha. Mama atma paradeheshu. He becomes envious of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the heart as Paramatma. Okay, like that one verse comes. This is again a characteristic of the Asura. For this is from Vedanta Desika. He gives a beautiful story. Beautiful story. So he says, how Paramatma looks at such people. So he says, Paramatma looks at such people with great compassion. He wants to really change them. For that he gives an example. He says, once upon a time there was a boy who had a fight with his mother. It's a very traditional India story. So you may find this little funny, aisa bhi ho sakta hai. So he fought with his mother. So he went to a mutt. Mutt means a temple. He went to a mutt that he said, I will not stay at home, I will stay in the temple. Now, again, see, in a conventional sense, we may see that, Are, aisa kaisa hua? But this is a very sattvic story. So in that, the child fights with the mother, also goes to the temple only after fighting. So the child basically fights with the mother and goes to the mutt and says that today night I'm going there only, I'm not going to sit at home. Get lost. He goes. But the mother felt very bad. And what she does is she brings prasad. She knows that this fellow has not eaten. So he gives prasad and goes to the manager of the mutt and tells the manager, give this to my child, but don't say that I gave it. Okay. So then the manager, what he does is he gives that prasad to the boy saying that please take some dinner. And the boy has it and he enjoys it and he tells the manager, even my mother never gives such good food, my manager will do. And the mother is seeing this from very far and she's feeling very happy. She's feeling that, Hare, so nice, my boy is nourished. Whatever he may say, that's a different thing. So Vedanta Desika uses this story and say that the living entity, because of Asura in this verse, he becomes envious of Paramatma, but Paramatma only keeps giving everything through various agencies. Devatas, people in the world, this, that. And this fellow gets all that and says that, ye kuch nahi karta mere liye. But Paramatma is not feeling angry at that. He is feeling, at least this fellow is nourished. It's okay. Let him be happy. It's a beautiful example. It's a very traditional setup, but he gives us an example for this particular verse where the Asura characteristic is deceptive. See, this is what Hiranyakashipu was, right? He was having that deep-rooted envy. There are many more things to say. I'll just conclude by saying, 1 second, yeah, this last 2 points. This is again almost one of the last points. So in 16, in one of the last verses, what does Krishna says? Tanaham dishata kruran. Krishna says, na, Asurishava yonishu. They descend lower and lower. See, in that verse, see, the whole idea here is this Asura Kula. It is such that if you get Asura characteristic, now you have only only two options you have. Either you have to come out of it, or you have to descend to the rock bottom. The Krishna speaks about that. Descending to the rock bottom. Descending to the rock bottom means now you do such nonsense that Krishna only has to come and kill you. This is what happens to Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, all these people. See, you have to see, either you have to be a great exalted person or you have to be extremely, correct, demonic. Then only you get liberation. Otherwise you cannot. So there is a verse in Upanishad. There is an Upanishadic verse which says, Yesha eva sadhu karma karyeti yamebhyo lokebhyo unnimishati Yesha eva asadu karma karyeti tam adho yannimishati. So what this Upanishadic verse says is, if somebody is uplifted by the Lord, already, great soul, Krishna makes him do better and better things in life. So that he will, go even up. So like great souls are there, right? They do fantastic things or great service or great amount of sadhana. All this is considered Krishna uplifting them personally. So Krishna has two approaches. For those who are in the middle, you have to fight it out. But those who are already come up, Krishna will now take them up even more and more. But those who are down, yesha yesha asadu karma karyeti. That means those who are down, Krishna says, oh, you are like this. I will make you do even worser things. Okay? So somebody may say, my God, why like that? So he gives a simple example. Example is just like a father and a son. Sometimes the father tells the son, don't be naughty, be well behaved. But the son wants to do mischief. The father understands, this fellow na sudrega nahi hai. So he will keep doing more and more mischief. Father keeps looking. One big mistake he will do, he'll fall down from somewhere, hurt himself badly. Father says, see, stop this nonsense right now. Then the child understands, oh my God, I really fell in trouble right now. You understood, right? So two type of things. Either you listen to the father or you don't listen to the father. If you don't listen to the father, father will try to give you advice. But still if you are not ready to listen, father will say, okay, let's see, do more mischief. At one point, you will do such a big mischief that the father will only come and catch him. Now come on. Now at least improve. And then that fellow understands. And that is what happens with all the Hiranyakashipu Ravan category. Correct? So do such mistakes that now, because Ravan will take away Kubera's airplane. For that, Ram will not come and kill Ravan. Na? Between Ravan and Kuber, Bhagwan क्यों आएंगे बीच में इसको मारने के लिए? यार तुम्हारा problem है, तुम्हारा airplane उसने खींचा. You've sorted out, man. But now he will not stop with that. See, that's the point. He will kidnap various girls. Then somebody may say, ठीक है, किसी लड़की को उठाए. But then finally he will go such a step. He will try to kidnap the goddess of fortune only. Then the Lord will come. Chalo abhi. Now I'll teach you a lesson. Nonsense. You are exceeded everything now. So like that. Okay. So like that. So either you hit the rock bottom. Then Asura has hope. इतना rock bottom मारने का नहीं. Not like Nair. Nair का तो material nature only killed him. Correct. That's why Prabhupada said, Nayar ko Bhagavan ne liberation nahi diya. Okay, you have to become such a rock bottom that Krishna comes and kills you, then finally, very good. Then like that. Now, how to get out of this? Only two things Krishna says in Gita. Because somebody will say, na, how to get out of Asura Pravritti? For that verse is there in 16th chapter. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. These three are gateways to Asura Pravritti. You give this up. If you give this up, you are saved. Then someone will say, even this is very difficult for me to give up. I am having Kama, Krodha, Lobha. What to do? Then that is why the another thing comes, the 16.23-24 in Gita, where Krishna is saying that follow Shastra. That means even if you have Kama, Krodha, or Lobha, whatever, in Shastra boundary, you see how that can be achieved or thing. Like I have Lobha for money. There is a Shastric injunction, how you can earn money, this, that. Be in that boundary only. Shastra means Shasan Karna. You are limited. Then also you have hope. If this much we do, you can come out of Asura Pravritti. Okay, so that's it. So we end the day by saying that Papi and Asuri is different. Papi is sinful guy who has hope. But Asuri Pravritti has to be killed. And even a sadhu is very happy when Asura is killed. Correct? That is the verse that we saw in the Bhagavatam. Like Hiranyakashipu. Then we said that this Asura is not just birth-based. It is birth-based in one sense. But more importantly, Krishna talks about it as vritti-based. We also saw in modern time how there are such Asuric characters who are trying to destroy, family system, traditional systems, by giving such a psychological perversion in the minds of young people that they go ahead and destroy it. They are very dangerous and they should actually be killed. They should die. It's very important. And we should be happy if one of them dies. Right? And then we went into various characteristics of Asura. Some of it, we didn't have so much time from the 16th chapter to analyze that. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yeah, any question? You have a question?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a very wonderful class from ancient to modern and differentiation between Asuric Pravritti and Pap is very important. One question which often comes is when Lord is giving a chance to the Asuras to go to rock bottom minimum, like Ravana. So when they do atrocities, then those atrocities are also, faced by people who are God-fearing or pious or whatever. So that brings a question in the mind that why does that section of that thing, because they are going through their Asuric thing, Lord may give them a long rope, but in the course of giving a long rope, then somebody else has to face the consequences of, they're going through that long rope. So how do we really understand this, the sufferings and pains, atrocities which are faced by the people? I mean,
at an individual level, if I face any suffering, no matter by what, I have to always see the Adhishta Karana that it is my own sin. And that's a fact. That doesn't justify this fellow giving me the suffering, but at my individual level, I have to see it like that. I have no other way to see it. At my individual level. That means if somebody comes and troubles me, right, like some wrong government is there, Aurangzeb becomes controller, he tries to kill people. I have to see that individually as my own Adhrishta Karana Papa due to which I have been put in this situation. But from a Samajik Drishti, we have to understand that such fellows have to be eliminated. Okay, because they are increasing. So there are two perspectives here. One is the individual perspective, where I'll have to always see it as my own past due to which I'm getting some reaction. It's a very but I cannot use that for another person. I cannot say that, oh, you're suffering because of this Asura, it is your Papa. Though I cannot say that to him. I am supposed to look at it like that in my life. But other people have to look at it in a way that the society has to change now. That means a proper government has to come. Like Veda was there. Okay, Veda was troubling people. Certainly who got troubled by Veda, it was their karma. I mean, if you see from that individual's perspective. But the rishis did not say that, oh, they are all suffering their karma, so let us go to sleep now. No, they said that, no, this fellow has to be thrown out of power. He has to be killed. So as a samaja, so that is what they say, na? Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatma. Adhyatma means how you see. So there is an Adi, this thing. Adi Bhautik means how you see it in society. And Adi Devik means how Devatas see. All the drishtis are different. So from Adi Bhautika, so Adhyatmika, I see it as my own problem. Adi Bhautika, I have to see that that means other people are suffering because of society, and that social structure has to be changed. That's why Krishna is saying, I am coming again and again to restore the social balance. Yada yada hi dharma says that verse only. That social balance has to be restored. See, because in this world, another interesting thing is Krishna never removes Asura forces completely. थोड़ा रखते हो, क्योंकि वो चाहिए रहता है बैलेंस करने के लिए. It never happens that all asuras are gone. No, just that they should not be so much. Some of them will be there. It is in fact necessary also to be there. The three modes का balance रखने के लिए, correct? Because it cannot happen that tamoguna has to be there to some extent, doing some kind of perversion and all that. You needed it for that balance to be there. So in Samaj we'll have to see it differently. We'll have to see it that no, something we'll have to do to change it. Either in our power, remove the government, or if it is too much, then petition Lord only to come and remove that Rakshas. Either we fight or we get. So that is it.
Yeah, that's true. But usually the social feeling goes that why Lord creates such a situation, because you see, if somebody is not at least practicing devotee, then it appears like that why such situation only should come where so many so-called innocent people go through the phase of suffering in that way. And especially if we say that Lord is arranging and giving him that chance, then they feel that Lord is cruel and Lord is not helping out the pious people and encouraging these people to create trouble. So then the blame goes to the Lord.
No, so it does not, because so two things here. First is, in society when there are asuric forces, the general understanding is that the onus is on the society to remove them. Classic example is Vena. When Vena, Lord did not incarnate to kill Vena. Who killed Vena? The rishis only killed. They were competent to kill this fellow. He was not such a big demon like the Hiranyakashipu that Lord had to incarnate to kill this fellow. So that means there will be some small Rakshasas which will keep coming, but society has that Shakti, Samaj, to remove that fellow. Like, are you getting it? Like Aurangzeb was there. Krishna didn't come to kill that fellow. The Marathas only managed it. They threw the Mughals out of power, right? So that means that Shakti is given in society. See, every time the Lord cannot be permanently stationed, otherwise it becomes like too much interference in the material world. So he will come only when situation is beyond even the Devatas to change anything. Then only he comes. Otherwise he is allowing the three modes to play. And when the three modes are playing, everyone has a responsibility. It's a shared responsibility. So that's why we cannot only say that it is a Lord's problem to come and change or he is responsible. No, the three modes are there because of that dynamics, such things are happening. You have to also fight it out. Okay, the rishis fought it to kill Vena. You have to fight it. You have to fight adharma forces from your own, in different ways. Like these leftists are there who are giving all this nonsense propaganda. So then the onus is on everyone here to change that propaganda by saying that no, this is nonsense. We have to fight that propaganda out, right? So people are getting affected because of propaganda, but we have the Shakti to change that propaganda. But when we only don't have the Shakti, then the Lord will say, okay, now I'll come and change it. But then when he changes also, again the onus comes back on us, because once he's gone, again the onus is on Samaj only to restore that Triguna balance. Right? Basically society can function well when Sattva is maximum and that Tamogun is little less. But Tamogun will never be removed. So Tamogun time to time will show its ugly face in the form of various asuras doing various mischief. But society has to fight it out. So that is a very important lesson that we have from Shastra. Okay.
So basically individual responsibility cannot be abnegated.
Individual and collective.
And collective, and the situations will come by the three modes of force of time or whatever arrangement we take.
You have to keep fighting. You have to keep fighting. And when you cannot fight, and Devatas also cannot fight, then the Lord says, okay, I'll come and sort it out. But then again you have to fight only, because he'll go back. Because जाने के तुरंत बाद there is problem. So there is, you can't say that I will not fight. Thank you. Okay, I think I'll take the last question. We are timed out badly.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. As usual, super excellent class, and I think it covered many topics, and even the question answer was very great. And probably, as you said, that these asuric qualities we have to introspect in ourselves to find out how much we are and how to deal with that. You actually explained very nicely that the gates to hell and gates to these asuric qualities have to be removed by being under the Shastra. Now, Prabhuji, there are two aspects. As an individual, I might be so, as Prabhupada also said in the verse at the end, sane people, right? Happiness of the sane persons and devotees. So, as an individual, I might be proactive and I be thinking about, yes, these are bad qualities, this will give harm to me. At the same time, I could be also such a person where I'm just like, I do not have such intelligence or such, thinking power that I'm thinking about it. So, a very simple example of a doctor and a patient. A patient has a problem, he's coughing, he's having fever and all that, and they might not think that this is actually because of lifestyle or food or whatever. But a doctor can understand that this is because of this. So, as the example you gave of a father and a son and all that. So, my precise question is, for such people who are not that sanely, having the sense of mind or intelligence that they can analyze their disease and follow these scriptures and the shastras and whatever guidance is be given. So what is the responsibility of the doctors of the society, as you said, samaj and
Good
collective?
point, good point. Yeah. See, so that is already covered, by the way. Krishna says 𝗲𝗂𝐵𝐴. 𝗲𝗂𝐵𝐴, 𝗲𝗂 This word is used in Bhagavad Gita repeatedly to say those who are not introspective too much, who are too simplistic and not introspective, that is also considered as asura only. Like if you see this Virocha, he went for a device class from Brahmaji. Brahmaji told him something, look in the pond and what you are is you. He saw it, he was happy with it. So that is considered asuric. Hare, aisa kaisa you became happy with that answer? Didn't you think carefully about it? वो कुछ भी आंसर देंगे, आपने सोचा नहीं आंसर के बारे में? You should think deeply, is this answer correct? What I'm looking in the pond, is that me? He became happy and he went away. So those who don't think too much, those who are not introspective, that itself is a quality, asuric quality, by the way. Okay, so now how that can be handled? See, that's why there is samaj, there is parivar, there is samaj. See, there are many layers. Okay, an individual is weaker. There is a parivar around him. That parivar is also there to counsel. Like if you see Bali also, correct? He had a parivar. Okay, Prahlad Maharaj, his wife, they all also gave advice, right? So if you see in our Shastra, we will see all these examples where someone is doing something stupid also. Like if you see classic example, Dhruva, when he fought against those people, that is also considered asuric, by the way. That means that, too much. You destroy a whole Gandharva race only just because one Gandharva killed your brother, Uttama. You go ahead and create such a chaos. But then see, his beauty, his grandfather came and told him, hey, barabar nahi hai. This is like you're going too much, Dhruva. This is not right. So he accepted it. He accepted. He said yes. Swayambhava, there is a chapter, Swayambhava Manu asked Dhruva to stop fighting. He's his grandfather. He comes and tells him, see, you're wrong now. This is too much. Too violent you're responding to one small problem of your family. Yeah, I said, you can't go and destroy that whole race only for this. So that's the point. So somebody is 𝗲𝗂𝐴, even great person can become temporarily 𝗲𝗂𝐴. Because we all get carried away by situations, correct? Dhruva Maharaj is a great soul, but temporarily he is getting carried away by a stupid idea to kill a whole race. But then family member comes and says, stop it. He listens. See, that's his greatness. He listens. He says, yes, I will not do it. So there is parivar, there is samaj, which has a responsibility also. If you see some 𝗲𝗂𝐴, then you go and tell him that, hey, Baba, ye galat hai tu. And that fellow, if he listens, then he is not considered asura. But if he doesn't, and he says, I will do, then you're gone case only. Yeah, thank you. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय।